So we're going to start. We're going to be seated just for a minute. And I want you to sit with how your shoulders feel today. And maybe take your arms wide and then lift the arms up and maybe up. Only go as far as your shoulders allow or as feels good, but we're just noticing the fluidity with which we're able to move our shoulders. And we'll come back to this at the end of class. We're going to start on our backs. So come on down and let's recline. And we're going to, if your body enjoys this, we're going to recline with our legs long. So we take our feet out long, let them fall open perhaps. If this is not enjoyable, then always constructive rest, feet standing on the mat. But we start here and we'll just do a quick body scan. And we're going to notice how the heels rest on the floor. Notice the calf muscles. Maybe even the ankles. Maybe your ankles are resting, maybe not. Noticing the differences between the sides. Traveling up the back of the thighs, feeling the connection to the floor. The pelvis. How are we resting on the pelvis today? Do we feel centered, off to the right, off to the left? Traveling up, is the rib cage noticeable today? Can you feel it resting on the floor? Maybe you feel one side more than the other, and then up to the shoulder blades. So we're going to notice the shoulder blades and how they connect with the floor. So the hands are resting next to the pelvis, so arms are long. Notice the sensation from the shoulders down the upper arm to the elbow, elbow to through forearm to wrist. And then notice how your hands want to rest. Is there symmetry in how they rest, or is one hand doing something different than the other? And then let's come to the back of the head and just notice how the head rests on the floor. So we're going to frog leg our legs up. So we slide that foot up one at a time, comes to standing. And we pause in constructive rest. So today we're going to work on our shoulders. Today we're going to do some shoulder exploration. And one of the reasons we start with the baseline is we're going to be working our shoulders. And when we come back to the end of the practice, we're just going to notice how the whole body can be impacted by conscious movement. So we're going to roll over onto the right side. If your right side, if it doesn't feel good, then do your left. I'll be cueing everything in a way that will allow you to rest on either side. We'll be going to both sides, but if you notice it resting on one side or the other doesn't feel good, you can just stay on one side. We're going to rest here, and we extend that arm, the underneath arm. So this is my right arm, and my head is resting on my right arm. I'm taking my left hand and I'm casually draping it on top of the side of my hip, the side of the pelvis. So the fingers are draping down a little bit. It's a casual rest. And we just pause here. Maybe tuck the knees up a little bit more so that they're a 90-degree angle, or what feels good to you today. I'm going to start by flopping the arm forward. So we begin at the shoulder joint, right here at the cap of the shoulder. And we're going to allow it to fall forward until that arm slides and flops to the floor. So we're not controlling this in any way. Bring that hand back up. We're allowing the body to release through the shoulder. So we allow it to roll forward just a little bit. Keep going until the hand naturally slides to the floor. I'm going to do that again. Let that shoulder come forward, sliding, flopping. Then we come back and we rest here. We're going to take it backwards now. So we're going to take that shoulder and rotate it backwards slowly, gently, softly, until that hand slides off and drops. And then we come back up. So as we're doing this, that shoulder is going to go back, until the hand flops off. And then we come back, and your hand may or may not touch the floor. It doesn't matter. We're just doing a casual release of the shoulder to the back. And there's the flop. And we come back to neutral. You may notice as you're doing this that the head's moving, the neck's moving, the pelvis is moving. Let's do it one more time, front and back, and notice what other parts of our body, what other parts are participating in this action with us. Shoulder forward, flop, back to neutral. And then the shoulder back until it drops. And then we come back to neutral. And we're just going to rest here for a moment. Find your breath. And now we're going to come back to the top of the shoulder here. We're going to draw it up toward the ear a little bit, and then back to center. Drawing the shoulder up so it's a little shrug. Bigger is not better in this practice. Small is really helpful. Just keep the breath moving, a couple more going up and back to center. And up and then back to a neutral position. Now we're going to slide that shoulder down and come back to a neutral position. Slide it down. Neutral. Slide the shoulder down. Neutral. And one more time. So we've moved the shoulder in 4 directions. We've gone forward with it. We've gone back with it. We've gone up with it. And we've gone down with it. So now we're going to create a clock. And so we're going to imagine, so now we have a shoulder clock. The top of the shoulder is 12. When we go down to the bottom, we're going to a 6 when we're releasing the shoulder down. When we're coming forward, it's a 3, and when we're going back, it's a 9. So now we're going to do the shoulder clock, and we're going to create circles. And this is a really small practice because we're aiming to create a circle. And if we start too big, we'll find that it is not necessarily a circle. It's oblong or rectangular. So we're going to start really small, and we come up first to 12. And then we go, I'm going backwards right now to 9, to 6, to 3, and back to 12. So we're aiming to make a really finely wrought circle. So we're going to do that, and we're going to make it as small as we need to. Now we're just moving the shoulder in that circle. We're making it as small as we need to get a sense, and maybe closing the eyes, to get a sense of making a really nicely rounded, even circle. And sometimes it's just the imagination. We may even want to be still and just imagine that we're making the circle. You may notice that when you make it a really small circle, the body has a little bit of a rock to it. Everything is connected here. And then once we have a sense of the small circle, maybe we expand it, make it a little bigger. Maybe. Though we're always aiming to get the sense of this being a circle. You might notice this in your neck as you're doing this. The neck and the shoulders are very, very interconnected. And sometimes the tension in the neck is from the shoulder or vice versa. And then we're going to pause. And we're going to switch the direction of the circle now. So we're coming to the 12, the 3, the 6, the 9, or whatever is opposite of what you were doing. And we're making this as small as we possibly can. And then once we have a sense of being able to touch every minute on the face of the clock, maybe we make it a little bit bigger. Or maybe we just go to stillness and imagine doing it. We're going to pause here and come back onto the back. Slide your feet out. We're resting here. Of course, if the feet don't feel great, elongated, then constructive rest works. But now we notice our body. Does anything feel clearer? Are we more aware of maybe the shoulder blades, maybe the back of the right leg, maybe the left heel? Maybe something's changed in how the hands are resting on the floor. We're just allowing ourselves to pay attention, to notice and observe the changes that take place all through the body when practicing simple conscious motion. Frog leg up. Roll back onto the right side. This time we're going to bring the arm out at shoulder height. This is where the towel may be helpful to rest the head on. Or maybe the head just wants to be on the floor. You decide. We're going to take that top arm and we're going to touch the palm. Slide those knees up. Keep the knees together to the best of your ability. And then we're going to slide the top hand away from the lower hand. They're going to still be touching, but we're sliding the hand forward. And notice how the head turns toward the floor when we do this reach. Then we're going to slide the hand back and we're going to slide up the arm. maybe to the shoulder, maybe just, I'm at the upper arm, maybe just to the elbow. And then we slide back down. And then we slide past the lower hand, allowing the head to turn, the nose toward the floor. Come back up, sliding, keeping the hand in contact at all times with something, the arm, the other hand, or maybe the floor. We're going to do this one more time. We're sliding down. We're just noticing if there's any loosening taking place in the shoulder as we slide and reach. And we come back up one more time. Just noticing ease in the body. And then we're going to pause here. Roll gently onto the back. Slide the feet out again. This time, notice the hands. When we first did the baseline of what the hands were, how the hands were resting, what they were doing, hanging out, did this change? Sliding the feet up, frog leg. We're going to switch sides now. So we're coming on to the left side. So you just may want to roll over to the left side. I'm altering to meet the camera and arrange my mat. There we go. We're going to slide that lower arm out. This hand rests comfortably on top of the hip. Maybe slide the knees forward just a little bit. And we begin by rotating the shoulder forward until the hand flops. And we come back. Again, forward. Oh, keep the breath moving here. And one more time. And back. And now we're going to take it backwards. So the shoulder rotates backward and the arm flops. Come back to neutral. Again, the arm flops. And come back to neutral. And one more time. And back to neutral. Pause here. And now we're going to take the top of the shoulder, bring it up, and back to sitter. Up, coming toward the ear, and then back to center. Again. And now we're going to take the shoulder down, sliding it down. Back to center. Sliding it down. Back to center. And one more time. And then back to center. So we've moved in all four directions. Now we're going to do a circle. So we're doing small circles, starting at the 12 o'clock. You can go either direction, but remember, we're aiming for a circle, so we're making this as small as must in order to have a sense of a circling motion happening in that joint. And then when we have a sense of the circle, and sometimes with eyes closed, it's easier. Maybe the circle gets a wee bit bigger, maybe. Then we're going to pause. And we reverse the circle. Ooh, I tried to make that one too big and my circle looked like a triangle. So I'm going to make that a smaller circle. So for most of us, that right shoulder's on top now. Most of us are right-handed. So we have a lot of repetitive motion with the right side of our body. So maybe we're undoing a little bit of the repetitiveness that is in our structure and our nervous system and our brain. Now we're going to pause. Sliding the arm out now, we're bringing it forward straight out of the shoulder joint. Maybe take that towel or blanket, rest it under the head. Hands stack. Knees come up. So maybe they're coming straight in a line with the hip joint if your body allows today. You're going to slide that top hand down and away, and the head turns, nose toward floor. Then we're going to slide that arm up, and we're going to stop at the point at which our body says, oop, right there. And then we're going to do it again, sliding down. So maybe the body stops with just the hands stacked. Maybe we notice that we reach a little further each time we do this. Maybe sliding up the arm, we go a little further. Sliding down the arm. Nice. Reach, head turns. Nose toward floor. Slide up one more time. And then we come back to center. Finding our way onto our backs. We're going to slide our legs out again. Feel the heels of the feet resting on the floor. Notice the calf muscles. Notice the back of the calves or the side of the calves. Coming up the leg, we notice the hamstrings, the back of the leg. Feeling our way into the pelvis. Noticing the rib cage. Checking in with the shoulder blades. We're going to come to the shoulder joint itself and bring our awareness down. Let's just do the right arm first. Down to the elbow. Down to the wrist. Down to the hand and the fingertips. The left shoulder to the elbow, to the wrist, to the hand and to the fingertips. Noticing the back of the head, and how it rests on the mat. We're going to enter our time of Shavasana. So invite you to just allow yourself to settle into your favorite resting posture, noticing the breath as it moves in and out of the body. Perhaps noticing how the jaw is a little more relaxed. Settle in. It is often said Shavasana is the most challenging posture in yoga, because to allow ourselves to rest, to settle in, is often dismissed or even uncomfortable for us. So let yourself be calm and quiet here for a couple of minutes. Today's thought is from Lionel Hampton, the musician. He says, gratitude is when memory is stored in the heart and not in the mind. Invite you to deepen your breath, bringing movement into your fingers and your toes. And then finding your way to seated. And as you come to seated, perhaps putting a towel or a blanket or rolled up mat under the hip joints can really help to create good posture. And so we started by opening our arms. So let's do this again. And just notice, is there any more ease or refreshment in the shoulders? Just a couple of sweeps to just notice. And then the third time up, we're going to gather all the blessings that already exist and we draw them in appreciation and gratitude into our hearts. And together we all say, Namaste.